Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name's Gina and I had VSG surgery a year ago in April of 2022. I am down 93 pounds total since my weight loss journey. And today we're going to talk about the 10 things I wish I knew before I had surgery. So let's get into it. These are not in any particular order. I am going to start with like before surgery and kind of move as we progress through this crazy VSG bariatric world. So let's start with, I guess, number one, which is you might get pushback from your friends and family about having surgery, and it kind of sucks. So in my case, I didn't have anyone that flat out told me like, no, you shouldn't do that. Everyone was receptive to it for the most part. I did get a little like, are you sure kind of a thing from my dad, who just like doesn't like surgery and was like more nervous, really not for me getting healthy, but just for the surgery itself. But once I kind of explained what it was, what the benefits were, he was definitely on board and has since then been like super supportive. But I luckily didn't have a situation where like people stopped talking to me because of this or anything like that, but it does happen. So just know if you do have some sort of pushback within your friends and your family, just know there are always others here to support you. And if you need that, we are all here to do so. You can always reach out to me, or I know a lot of people over on Instagram. If you need a little extra support, there's people here to support you. But just because you're not getting it from your family doesn't mean you shouldn't go through with the surgery. You do what's best for you. You know in your heart and in your mind that if this is the right decision for you, that you should do it. So just take that into consideration and don't let the haters get you down. Number two is going to be don't stock up on things before surgery, because your taste buds may change and you might not like the things you like before pre-op. So I would suggest, now if you go back, I think I did a video, it's like stocking up for my liquid. I didn't use maybe half of the things I bought and I wasted so much money. So I would say for each stage, buy what you need in the moment. Now it does suck because you have to keep going to the grocery store, and especially if you're not feeling well or you're relying on someone else to do the shopping for you, it does add a little bit more like annoyance in that case that you can't stock up. But in the long run, you're going to save money. You're going to find things you actually like, and then once you know what you like after surgery, then you can stock up a little bit. But I'm saying like, don't buy all the Gatorade protein drinks like I did and then wasted because they were disgusting and I should have known better. But I bought 2 like cases off Amazon. Now they were like $10 a thing, but still that's $20 I could have saved and bought something else with. So do not stock up. Buy little sample things when you can. Buy sample packs of protein off Bariatric Pal or like whatever brand you're looking into. For the most part, they sell sample packs. So try to get those beforehand. It's going to cost you a little bit more, but it's worth it just so you're not stocking up and buying big containers of protein or like a 20 shakes at a time. So you know you like it before and after surgery. Number 3, we're going to talk complications with surgery and after. Now, again, I find myself very lucky where I didn't have any complications, but watching a lot of people's journeys on YouTube and Instagram, things do happen. So the thing that I probably wish I would have been more like in tune with was like how I was feeling during the whole process. Like if I did have I think I recorded in a couple videos that I had like some sort of like dull pain a couple days after surgery. Like I probably should have been more proactive. Nothing bad ever happened. And it was pretty sure it was just like a deep internal stitch. But things like that can quickly spiral out of control if you don't be proactive about it. So kind of just taking everything with like more consideration and just knowing what I'm feeling is okay and getting it checked out if need be. But not to be scared of it. I don't want to scare anyone to not get surgery. Obviously, there are risks with every surgery you have. But just kind of be more in tune with what's going on and know that there is potential. And for me, there are still potential side effects that could happen. Ulcers can happen. Gallbladder is a big thing. Luckily, I've had no pain in that area, which supposedly you feel like in your stomach or above your belly button. But even things like that, I still have to be sure that I'm checking in with myself and my body to know that I'm not going to have any complications even a year out. So there's always risks, but just something to keep in mind before you have surgery. Okay, the next thing, number 4, would be your stomach can change from right after surgery to later on a couple weeks out. So this goes in part with not stocking up because you might not be able to have something like 2 weeks after surgery, and then 2 months after surgery, you might be able to handle it just fine. So when I was on my, I think it was clear, it had to have been clear liquor because I think I was home like 3 or 4 days. I tried regular Gatorade, and immediately it went down, and you know that feeling you get when you have to like throw up, and you like feel it right here, and it's coming back up. That happened. So I was scared to drink Gatorade for a long time. But it has good electrolytes in it. Every once in a while it's good to have one. But I like stayed off of it for months because I was convinced that it was like, okay, I just can't drink Gatorade anymore. Like, that's it, all done for me. No, after those first couple weeks went by and my body readjusted to surgery and everything, it was fine. I can drink Gatorade now, no problem. So don't be afraid to retest things later on further in your process. You don't want to have to absolutely rule out everything. The first time I had chicken, I got that same feeling. I probably ate it too fast. I was too excited, but it kept me off chicken for like a week or two until I was like, okay, I'm going to slow down. We're going to retry it. Just know your stomach can and probably will change from right after surgery to later on down the road. And number 5, something I wish people would have told me before surgery, you will stall. And you will stall even if you're doing everything right, especially early on. So most people, and I don't think my surgery office told me, I don't think my bariatric team told me this about the 3-week stall that almost everyone has. So when it happened to me at 2 weeks, because I had been on a pre-op diet for over 10 days, then I was on 2 weeks of plain liquid. And then once I started my puree, I stalled. Or no. Once I started my full liquids, I stalled. So that was like 3 weeks in, basically, from time of my pre-op to that 3rd week was to my first week of fulls was when I stalled. So I did so much research on why do you stall after 3 weeks after bariatric surgery. Obviously, your body is trying to figure out what the heck you did with it. The scientific theory of this is you are still losing fat within that time, but because you dropped all that weight so fast, a lot of that was water weight. So while your water weight is coming back and going up is not a bad thing, but you need the water for your body to function. So while that's going back up, you're losing fat, which means the scale is even, like you're not doing anything. So your body is still changing, but you just need some time to think about what just happened, even out, and then you'll go back down. So just know that that stall will probably most likely happen, but it's okay. It's natural. It happens to everyone. Your body's just figuring things out and you'll be all good. Okay, number 6 is that you could do everything in the world to save your hair, but it will fall out. I thought I was going to be the one exception. I would be the one that could figure out how to not get my hair to fall out. I was not. I was taking biotin. As soon as they let me, I was like, this is going to solve all of my issues. And no, honey, that hair is falling out whether you want it to or not. So just know it's going to come out. There's nothing you can do to really save it, unfortunately. It's just a side effect of the surgery. Mine started around 4 months post-op and went to about 7 months post-op. Now I had pretty thick hair to begin with. So my loss basically just gave me thin hair. But it is coming back. I don't know. Like, here's all my baby hairs. Like, so after a year, it will start growing back in. But give it time. It'll come back. But just know there's not really anything you can do. This is probably the question I get most often is, did you lose your hair and what did you do? So take your biotin. It'll only help with the regrowth. It'll not save your hair from falling out, but the more you can get in to help your hair regrow, I guess, the better. So it'll come back. Just give it time. Okay, so number 7 is going to be your loss will slow down. It's just a matter of time, but it might be sooner than you think. So I was losing pretty regularly. I'm still a slow loser. That's just part of what's been happening to me. But I would say after 6 months, my loss really slowed down, like slower than I ever thought would be. Even though I am eating correctly, I am working out, I can do everything right and still only lose a half a pound a week. It's not bad by any means, but it's not what I expected. I guess my expectations were a little too high, thinking I could lose 2 pounds every week for 52 weeks. Like, I guess for some people that can happen. That ain't me. So just know that it does slow down, but as long as you're doing everything consistently, eating the right things, working out, getting in that movement, the overall trend is always lower. Especially in my case, that's what I have to tell myself. It's always lower. I might go back up, I might go back down, I might even out for a little bit. The trend is always down, which is what you want to focus on when you do stall. So just know it will slow down. It does suck, but that's just the way bodies work, and you will get through it. Number 8 is, yeah, the stages after surgery are hard, but post-op is way harder. I'm talking months 9 through 12 and beyond. This is the time that it's the hardest. I know I say that in like every update video. I'm like, this has been the hardest month, but it is truly the hardest. And I'm going to kind of incorporate reasons 9 and 10 into this one. So you're getting like a 3-fer in one thing. And why is it still hard? And why does it get harder? So number 9, tying this in, is you can still eat like an ass. Like, you can absolutely still eat like an ass. I can have cookies, I can have bread, I can have cake and ice cream, and my tool is really then useless because I'm choosing to put things into my body that are not good for me. They have the sugar, they have the carbs, they have the salt to bloat me up so I feel like a balloon. Like, I still have to make the choices to put the correct things into my body, because right now I can eat anything, right? That's what happens when you're this far out. You have to choose, and you have to be the one to do all that mental work and be like, you know what? I'm choosing not to buy these things. I'm going to eat healthy. I'm going to, use the plate method, eat my vegetables, eat my protein first. Like, that's all a part of this. And it gets harder the further you get out, because once you test those waters of, oh, I can have a couple bites of ice cream, or I can have one cookie. Like, it's not going to throw me off. Sure, it's not going to throw you off for a day, but the one cookie turns into 2. And then the 2 turns into, I'm going to have 2 now, and I'll have 1 before bed. And it's just downhill. So I am trying to stop myself from going downhill, right? I'm not buying the junk. I don't keep it in my house, but it's like, if I'm out and I want like a little snack, or I buy, a cookie or whatever, I'm okay right now, but I don't need that to turn into something worse, where I'm buying a pack of cookies or a bag of candy or things like that. So I'm trying to do that mental gymnastics and work now so I don't go back to the way I was before. And then the last thing is, surgery will not fix your food issues. I know everyone says that, but it really is the truth. Coming from someone a year post-op, it will not solve your issues. You really do have to do all of that work. It will not fix your head hunger. It will not fix your food choices. It's literally stopping me only from eating large amounts of food, which is a blessing. It definitely helps when I get full after, 4 or 5 ounces of food. But that food empties out, and guess what? In an hour, I can eat again. So it's really all about the headspace. I wish people would have talked about that more pre-op, because a lot of it is focusing on like stages, purees, getting through your psych eval, that kind of stuff. No one's talking about a year out. What are the struggles? A year out, what do I need to do? I don't have a list for a year out. Do you have a list of things you need to be eating? No, you're on your own. You need to make those choices by yourself and try to, figure out and get through it. So those are all the things I wish people would have told me before surgery. Hope this helped if you are struggling or trying to make a decision on surgery. These are all the things that you need to think about when you're going into the bariatric world. These are all real things that come up. And surgery is not a fix-all. So I hope this helped you out somewhat. If you want any more information, go ahead and leave a comment down below. If you want real-time updates, or you have more questions, you can go ahead and follow me over on Instagram. Send me a message over there. I'm always happy to respond. If you have any other questions, drop them below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.